Well, hey guys, and welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. It's great to be with you today. Thanks so much for joining in. If this is your very first time here, I want to say thank you and I want to say welcome. If you've been here one time or many times in the past, I want to say thank you, but I also want to say the words welcome back. Great to have you here with me on the show to inspire you with some great content to improve the quality of your life. If you have not checked out believemeachieve.com, what are you waiting for? Go check it out. That is after the show is over, not now. And I think you guys will find it to be. I think you guys will find it to be a very big inspiration to changing your life. You also can find information about my new book, Drained to Driven. Lots of great stuff. So without any further ado, guys, let's kick this show off. We have an incredible master topic for the week, just for you guys, which we do, by the way, every single week. We start on Saturday and we roll through the week and we finish up on we finish up on a Friday. So the master topic is when direction changes because truth gets revealed. When direction changes because truth gets revealed. Think about that for a moment. So welcome back, everyone, to Inspirations for Your Life. I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, engineer, marketing specialist, video producer, podcast host, coach, keynote speaker, graduate student, lifelong learner, and yes, passionate, of course, learner, but an author. Yes, I'm so grateful to be an author now. And this week, we're talking all about something that changes everything. Direction does not change randomly, guys. Direction changes when truth shows up and what you believed no longer works. And I think that's a hard thing for a lot of people to pay attention to. Oh, by the way, guys, if you're thirsty, I have my RO with my fresh lemon here. Water. Feel free to go get yourself something, whether it's water, whether it's soda, a snack. Healthy or not, that's up to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, most people think they are stuck, but in reality, they are resisting what is trying to reveal itself through. Yeah. So, when resistance turns into revelation, we have miracles. But a lot of you are like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. I'm not ready because they're waiting for that perfect moment. They're waiting for that perfect time. But the perfect moment, the perfect time never shows up. So they get disappointed. Number one, guys, resistance signals growth and shows where expansion is happening. And I think that's a hard thing for a lot of people to acknowledge, but it is, I'm going to tell you the truth, guys. Absolutely, absolutely is the truth. And I think a lot of people, I just think a lot of people don't want to do that. I don't want to say they don't want to know the truth, but they don't necessarily want to go there. And I say go there because they're a little scared of what's happening. And I know that sounds like something that's a little bit crazy, but I want to tell you it's the truth, guys. It is the truth. And so if we understand that it's the truth, we know that's our way of life. Number two, discomfort creates awareness and forces you to see what you ignored. Now, I didn't say pain, I said discomfort. All right. Discomfort creates an awareness. And I think that's a very important thing that a lot of people, for whatever reason, they just don't want to acknowledge it. Okay. And I think that's hard for a lot of people. Number three, conflict reveals truth that comfort keeps hidden. So when we're comfortable, ladies and gentlemen, people just don't want to move. They don't want to do anything, right? Because they'd rather stay nice and toasty warm or nice and chill and cold if it's summertime because, well, they don't like temperature changes, right? They don't want to be uncomfortable. We said this before, guys. They don't want to become uncomfortable. And being uncomfortable, again, is not painful, but it is a little bit hard to bear sometimes. Number four, guys, pressure creates awareness that cannot be avoided. And this is a good kind of pressure, guys. This is not a bad kind of pressure. It is absolutely a good kind of pressure. And it's a pressure, I think, that a lot of people want to know about, but for whatever reason, they just kind of get lost. And it's a good kind of loss, guys. It's a lost where it's like you're between which way do I go? Do I go this way or do I go that way? And I think when a lot of people hear that thought, they say to myself, "Oh my gosh, this is like incredible," right? But then for whatever reason, they just like they feel that there's no way out, right? And so that's a problem for a lot of people. They feel that they're going, well, down a one way street. Ladies and gentlemen, struggle leads to insight through real experience. And so when we have lessons, when we have insights, that's the moment when things become alive. That's the moment when challenge gets absorbed and we learn. Number six, guys, opposition strengthens understanding over time. I didn't say immediately, I said over time. And so over time is something that a lot of people, for whatever reason, they just don't get that. And I want to tell you that you can get it if you become aware of things. Number seven, breakdown leads to breakthrough when patterns shift. So when a pattern shifts, it's like something changes, right? A change happens for us that should be one way, but for whatever reason, it's another way. And I think that's a very hard thing for people to acknowledge or to notice is that they don't necessarily want the change. Number eight, guys, confusion forces reflection and deeper thinking. Again, the thinking is not what's painful, okay? The thinking is what gets us to hopefully take a step. Number nine, challenge exposes weakness that needs correction. All right. And so when we think about that, a lot of you are like, oh, I really don't want to go through this. I don't want to deal with this right now. But the truth of the matter is, guys, you can deal with this. You can do this. Okay. I think that's the most important thing that I can tell you. Um, you know, um, I think sometimes people get stuck in their own way. They get in their own way is what happens. And when they're in their own way, it's like, "Oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do?" Number 10, guys, tension drives change by removing comfort. So when we remove comfort, change happens. But does it happen the way we want it? Sometimes change happens slowly, and sometimes change happens, well, ever so quickly. Maybe quicker than we're ready, right? And I think that's the biggest fear of a lot of people is that they're going to get this big shift, but they're not really ready for the big shift. I think that's a big question that a lot of people sometimes I'm going to say get stuck under, and they get stuck under this because of one reason. You know what the reason is? The reason is they're in their own way. They're in their own way, and their own way causes them to, well, be stagnant, to not grow. And I think that's a big problem for a lot of people, whether you're starting out, whether you're, been around for a while, things that are not comfortable, people tend to avoid. Um, Number 11, guys, friction reveals direction through resistance. That's one that a lot of people want to stay away from. And I will tell you why. It's because they're like, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if none of this happens? What if what you fear doesn't happen? And what if something else incredibly great happens? Number 12, guys, obstacles refine thinking and sharpen decisions. So when we get an obstacle in our path, we can say, you know what? This is making sense to me. This is something I'm now in alignment with. Number 13, guys, resistance shapes identity through adaptation. So think of it like being a chameleon, right? When we can blend into an environment, we can change. We can change. And that change is something that a lot of people, they just don't seem to get. And they don't get it because of one reason. And I'll tell you what that reason is. The reason is that they want to go one way and they're only open to going one way. They don't want to go another way. And now that you're going this way, it's like, oh my gosh, like, how do I turn around? Like, what do I do now? And it's not the time to get scared, guys. It's not that. Um, it's about something else. Okay. It's about something else. And that something else hopefully will get you to have, I'm going to call it an epiphany moment. All right. But epiphany moments don't happen every day. Number 14, that little bit of pain or that discomfort creates an awareness that demands an attention. And when we start noticing that demand, when we start getting that attention, it's like, well, wait a minute. Things are different for me now. I didn't know that that was a possibility. I didn't know that. I didn't know that what I was doing was actually educating me. I had no idea that that was doing that for me. Number 15, guys, truth emerges under stress when pressure builds. So when there's stress, people show their true colors. They don't hide anything. Stress isn't good, but you get to know the person. Maybe they don't really get excited when they're stressed, but you get to know the truth about the person when they are stressed, because that's when their true colors come shining through, right? Remember that song? And I think that's an important moment that a lot of us miss. Number 16, guys, growth requires struggle to create strength. To create strength. And I think the harder that we think about this, the more that we talk about, the more that sometimes it becomes so difficult just to be able to understand. All right. And so if we thought for just a moment what life could be like if we weren't so stressful, if we leaned into our hunches, if we did that. But the question is, can we do that in a way that keeps us kind? Can we do that? So growth requires struggle to create strength. It does not outpour overnight, guys. It does not outpour overnight. And I think that's a key thing that a lot of people just don't understand. And I want to tell you that if you understand this one thing, just this one thing, you could shift your entire personality. Growth requires struggle to create strength. And just thinking about that for a moment, I think can really cause a big epiphany. One that will get you to see your true insights. One that will get you to understand that, yes, struggle is going to teach you the lesson that you've been waiting your entire life for. And when we learn to become aware of these things, guys, life changes for us. Life changes for us. And that's when things become interesting. Okay. They become interesting because we now have the insights. We now have, I'll call it the data. We now have learned from that experience that has kept us in the dark all this time. But the first time you go through, it's not going to be like, oh, this is so simple. This is so easy. It's going to be complicated. It's going to sometimes make you want to quit, you know? And I said this before, the difference between a successful person and those that are not successful is a successful person just learns to hang on a little bit longer. That's the only difference between a successful person and a non-successful person. Okay? That's the only difference, guys. That is the only difference. If you could understand that one thing, your life would be different. But many people don't learn that one thing. They basically get lost. And that's something, again, that a lot of people, I feel, just don't understand. They don't know what it means. And again, it's not to say that what you're doing is wrong. It's to say that there is potential, that there is growth. Okay? That's what it's about, guys. It's about that whole concept. And with that concept, we can then grow and we can then learn. We can then grow and we can then learn. Number 17, guys, difficulty develops clarity through persistence. You know, those that are persistent succeed. Not everything in your life is going to be easy. In fact, the things that are hard or challenging are going to teach you lessons that maybe you didn't know about. Maybe they're going to teach you lessons. And those lessons could be the difference between you being a success and you being like, well, I want to be a success, but I'm not sure how to be a success. And I think that's a very important thing for us to all realize. If you knew what it took to be a success and somebody gave you the formula, would you do what it takes, or would you just complain and say, oh, I don't want to do that? Right? I mean, I'm hoping that's not the way you'd be, but you could be. Number 18, resistance is information. It's not failure. Think of it as data, just like data for a computer, right? It is information. That's all it is. It is information. And that information, guys, is, well, it's the key. And that's a big key, guys. It's a very big key. A key that says, this is where I want to go. Okay? A key that says, I know what I want in life. Okay? I know exactly what I want in life. And if I know exactly what I want in life, I'm going to get it. But I might need to do some work. I might need to figure out some things. And you know, guys, that's completely okay to go figure out stuff, because nobody knows all the answers right away. Nobody knows all these answers. And so if nobody knows all these answers, then maybe you can say, wait a minute, this actually makes sense. This actually makes sense. And now I can do something that is going to make a difference in my life and other people's lives. Number 19, guys, awareness follows conflict. When truth is revealed, that pattern is going to show up. Whether you understand it or you don't understand it, I think it's important to acknowledge that that is going to show up. And if we know that that's going to show up, then I would tell you that you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn why everyone else gave up. Okay? You're going to learn that. But it might not happen right away. And on that pathway, you might get very, very, how can I say? You might get very disappointed. All right? Very disappointed. And that disappointment may cause you to change your direction. To change your direction. And I know a lot of you are saying to me, hey, John, this isn't going where I want to go. And I would tell you that you're probably right. But the question is, how do you change it so it goes where you want to go? Intention. Number 20, guys, insight follows pressure through experience. So, a pressure that gets us to want to move, a pressure that gets us to want to change. All right. Number 21, guys, change follows discomfort all the time when action is taken. So, if we're uncomfortable and we want to change that, I'll give you an example. Maybe you're sitting in the chair, and maybe you're not comfortable. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. I don't want to feel that way anymore. Well, you change your position, and now you don't feel as uncomfortable. Number 22, guys, clarity follows confusion through reflection. Through reflection. Okay. That's very important to know. Important because it'll change our pathway. And when our pathway changes, we're much more likely to reach success. If we've been going down the same route for a long time and we're not getting success, it's high time we change the pattern. Number 23, guys. Strength follows resistance through endurance. Through endurance. Through endurance. Does that make sense? Through endurance. And when we know that endurance is part of our picture, when we know that endurance is going to get us through what we need, we're more likely to move forward. Number 24, wisdom follows experience over time. You will gain so much knowledge over time. You will gain more knowledge being part of something than trying to learn it from a book. The analogy I gave a long time ago is I was very fortunate to be part of ALSG, American Leadership Study Groups, when they were around. And I started traveling to Europe when I was in high school. And we got credit for the different courses. But I got more wisdom about the different countries in Europe than I would learn in 3 or 4 years of school. That's pretty cool, guys. Number 25, growth follows pressure when it's embraced. Growth is something that happens because we respond to the signals, to the data we get from ourselves. But a lot of people don't respond to that data. They're like, oh, you know what? That's okay. I'll just keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And what is that, ladies and gentlemen? We've learned before. That is what Einstein says, insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results is insanity. So why are people doing this? I don't know. They're not going to get different results. Number 26, direction follows struggle with persistence. With persistence. Transformation follows breakdown. Number 27, and it causes a rebuilding. A rebuilding that says, wait a minute, this makes full sense. All right? That's the key. A breakdown, but then a rebuilding of where we are. Number 28, guys, awareness follows tension in key moments. What if awareness could be present all the time and not just in the key moments? What if we could learn how to harness awareness every day as something we do as easily as we breathe? A skill, right? We're born with the ability to how to breathe, but we're not born with the ability to know how to communicate. We're not born with the ability to know how to decipher information from our environment. We're not born with that. We have to learn that skill, guys. Number 29. Understanding follows conflict through processing. When we understanding goes through and we follow the conflict through processing, we're able to get, ladies and gentlemen, this solved. Okay. But again, this does not happen overnight, guys. This is not something that's going to happen overnight. I am sorry to tell you that, but it does happen. It's just we've got to be a little patient. Number 30, guys, revelation follows resistance when truth is accepted. So a big upbringing happens positively when there's a bunch of resistance, when truth is accepted. So when the truth comes around, people are like, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to change my tune. I think I'm going to change my belief in what I'm thinking. That's a very, very powerful thing, guys. When we change our belief, okay, our life changes. Our life changes when we change our belief. When we change our belief, magic happens. The impossible that we thought was not viable suddenly becomes easy. My question to you today is, if someone said to you, this is the formula to be successful, would you try it? Or would you wait and say, you know what, I'll just wait and keep doing things the way they will, and eventually it'll work out. But you know what? It never will work out. When will you say enough's enough and I need to change so that I can grow, so that I can become the person that I've been wanting to be for a very long time? When I'm asking this question, when will you do that? Or will you never do that? That's my question for you. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are you resisting right now? Is it something to avoid or something you're trying to be guided toward? Most people stay stuck not because they lack ability, but because they ignore what resistance is trying to teach them. Direction changes when truth is accepted. That can be scary, but it's very enlightening. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley. I thank you so much for joining me on Inspirations for Your Life today. And ladies and gentlemen, when truth shows up, that is your moment to change direction. Do not wait. Don't forget to check out Believe Me Achieve for more of my amazing inspirations real soon. Take care, everyone.